Hey everyone, 4 Acre Farm here, and what I'm up to today is I'm going to render some tallow out of this suet. I'm going to get it all chopped up into small pieces. And if you don't know, suet is what comes from the inside of a cow, around the kidneys. It's quite a lot different than muscle fat, which would be on the outside of the animal, hooked to the meat. Now if you go to a butcher to try to get some suet, make sure you tell them that you want kidney fat, because they might try to just pawn off any fat onto you. And to make good tallow, you don't want that, because muscle fat will never harden up the way kidney fat does. It'll be more like lard, kind of soft. So what we got to do here is chop this up into small pieces. I'm going to render this in a crock pot, and then I won't have to tend to it. I'll just leave it in there for a few hours, let it do its thing. It's kind of like that. You usually always got some meat left attached to it, like that right there. You want to make sure and take all that off. It's just a thin strip there. I'll just slice it right off. And all these leftover pieces like that, I'll chop them up and render them down, and then I pour them into cupcake molds, pans with liners in them. Then we use that for the dog food. We melt it down and pour it over the dog's kibbles. Oh, he loves it, and it's good for him too. Alright, I got quite a lot of this stuff to chop up, so I'll pause the video for now and I'll get back to you. One thing I forgot to mention before is there's a lot of connective tissue in here. You see that right there? Now bigger pieces like that, you really want to try to pull them out. They're just going to get in the way. And there's a lot of connective tissue in there. I don't know if you can see that or not, but there's some lighter stuff in there. You don't have to worry about that. This bigger stuff, this heavier stuff, you want to try to pull that out. And this stuff's kind of crumbly. You can usually just pull it right off with your fingers. But I'm not going to worry about that. I'll put that in the dog food. I'll be using this finished tallow for making pemmican. So stay tuned, and I'll have probably a couple of videos on doing that, because I'm going to build a dehydrator for drying out the meat. By the way, one of my favorite knives here, this is an Old Hickory 7-inch butcher. Super good knife. And they're only about $7. Can't go wrong there. As you can see, this makes quite a mess, so I always put down a piece of freezer paper on the table before I get going, and then when I'm done I can just fold it all up and throw it out. Okay, we've got a bowl full of this already, all chopped up, ready to go into the crock pot. So I'm going to put that in the crock pot and see if I need to cut up some more to fill it up with. Okay, we've got that in the crock pot, and we're going to let that simmer on low for about 6 hours probably, and I'll stir it every now and then when I walk by. That should do the trick. I'll see you in a little bit. Okay, this is about 5 hours later, and what we've got here is liquid tallow, and it's ready to strain. So I'll set the camera up on a tripod and we'll have at it. Okay, we're ready to strain this off. What I've got here is, it's kind of like a canning jar funnel, only it's got a little screen you screw on the bottom of it. This is something my grandmother had, so I think it's all of 50 years old. So we're going to use that, and we're going to line it with a paper towel just to catch all the fine stuff. And I'm putting it into a pint jar, and when that's full I dump it into these little mini loaf pans. The pint fits in there just about right and makes a pretty good cube of tallow. I've also got some paper towels on the counter to make cleanup a little easier. Okay, we're going to ladle this out first, just a liquid if I can. There we go. Hope you can all see that okay. I'm not sure about how the lighting is in here. It's almost dark outside. Okay, we've got a pint jar full there. We're going to quickly flip this funnel into another jar. We're going to pour this into the little miniature loaf pan. And we'll set that jar aside to let it cool, and we'll use this one. I don't know if you can see in that pan or not. That's about a half an inch from full, which is just right. Okay, I'm going to put that in the refrigerator, and I'll be back. And now, of course, you get a lot of those pieces of suet left over from where I cut up. You got this here critter, some kind of a press. I'm not sure just what it is. But I'm going to scoop those into there. Hope you can see that. Last time I did this, the pieces of fat just squished right out through the holes. And they probably will this time. We'll see. Just kind of gently squeeze on that. I guess you can't see that very good. My tripod isn't high enough for doing some of these things. Anyways, the tallow's running out of there. Just kind of gently squeeze on it. Alright, I need to hold that down in there because it's shooting tallow out through the sides and going everywhere. Okay, we got 3 of those little miniature loaf pans and a couple of cupcakes. And I'm going to let them sit right on the counter and cool off because I've got them kind of full. So when those cool off and harden up, I'll get a picture of them in the morning and post that. Now I got to clean up the kitchen. I'll see you next time I see you.